Imagine a war that consumed the world, a battle that defined the Pacific, and one man from the U.S. Coast Guard that gave everything. Not for glory, not for medals, but to make sure someone else made it home. I am Mandatory Fun Day. This is Foregone Friday. That man is Douglas Munro, and this is his story. This is the story of the only Coast Guardsman to ever receive the Medal of Honor. What's up, everyone? Welcome back. We are bringing military history to life one story at a time. Today we're diving into the life of a man whose name should be spoken in the same breath as Audie Murphy, Chesty Puller, and Alvin York. Douglas Munro didn't just wear the Coast Guard uniform, he redefined what it meant to wear it in combat. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and watch till the end because I'll tell you how Munro's actions shaped the modern Coast Guard and the emotional way he's honored today that most people don't even know about. Let's get into it. Douglas Albert Munro was born in Vancouver, British Columbia in 1919, but he was raised in South Cle Elum, Washington. He was your average kid, played the trumpet in the high school band, ran track, and loved the outdoors. But even as a teenager, there was something in him, this quiet sense of duty. When war started brewing in Europe and tensions in the Pacific began rising, he didn't wait. In 1939, at just 20 years old, Munro joined the U.S. Coast Guard. He originally enrolled in college, studying at Central Washington College of Education. But he left voluntarily to enlist when it became clear the world was heading towards war. He wasn't interested in watching history happen. He wanted to be in it. Now remember, this is before the Coast Guard was really seen as a combat force. They were known for search and rescue, law enforcement, and peacetime patrols. Today they're known for scaring drug smugglers mostly. And really cool clips on the internet. Anytime people make fun of the Coast Guard, I'm like, have you guys seen the highlight reels? Munro didn't join for fame, he joined because he wanted to serve. What he didn't know was that fate would push him into the deadliest war in human history. When the U.S. entered World War II, the Coast Guard took on a whole new role. They manned troop transports, drove landing craft under fire, and operated alongside the Navy and Marines during some of the most intense island-hopping campaigns in the Pacific. These weren't small-scale missions. They were tasked with some of the most dangerous duties. Bringing Marines ashore during amphibious assaults while Japanese machine guns poured lead straight down from the tree line. Munro was trained as a signalman, a critical job that involved coordinating movement of ships, often while under fire. He wasn't holding a rifle, but he was holding the lives of hundreds in his hands. He quickly earned a reputation for being calm under pressure, skilled with both communications, equipment, and small boats. This is one that we are okay with touching our boats. He was the guy you wanted in the lead boat when everything went sideways. By 1942, Munro had been assigned to the USS Hunter Liggett, operating landing craft in the Solomon Islands campaign. And that was where history would test him. Real quick, if you're someone who loves diving deep into history, I love making this content. If you would like to support me further, you can go over to themandatoryfunday.com, get some merch. We've got shirts and hats. We've got a bunch of stuff. I also have a membership section on my website. Website members get 20% off their entire order, access to exclusive content, and the ability to message me directly. Finally, the last thing I'm going to mention about the website is that we have a link that will take you to a place to get military regulation compliant shirts that you can wear under your uniform. Yes, you can get a Live, Laugh, Toaster, Bath tan shirt. As always, thank you so much for supporting me, guys. Let's get back to Douglas Munro. September 27th, 1942, the Battle for Guadalcanal was raging. A group of nearly 500 Marines had advanced beyond their lines near a spot called Point Cruz and suddenly found themselves surrounded by Japanese forces. Their situation was desperate. They were outgunned, outnumbered, and under heavy fire. That's when a call went out. We need immediate evacuation. Douglas Munro didn't hesitate. He volunteered to lead a flotilla of Higgins boats straight into the firefight to get those Marines out. He didn't stop to calculate the odds. He didn't wait to be ordered. He simply said, "I'll go." When somebody asked, he said, "Send me. I'm ready." Under relentless enemy machine gun and mortar fire, Munro expertly maneuvered landing craft, placing them between the Marines and the Japanese guns, using his lifeboat as a literal shield. He positioned his boats, directed the evacuation, and calmly gave covering fire to protect the retreating Marines. Witnesses described him as composed and cool-headed even when bullets snapped overhead and the water erupted around him. He never broke concentration. His only concern was making sure the men on shore got off that beach alive. Then, with most of the troops safely aboard, he turned his boat to cover the final withdrawal. That's when he was hit. A single bullet struck him fatally. As blood poured from his wound, Munro asked just one thing: did they get off? He didn't ask, am I going to be okay? He didn't ask, did we win? He just asked if they got off. And yes, they did. Every last one of those 500 Marines made it out because of him. Douglas Munro died that day at just 22 years old, but his legacy didn't end there. President Franklin D. Roosevelt awarded him the Medal of Honor posthumously, the only time in history it's ever been given to a Coast Guardsman. His parents received the medal on his behalf. The citation praised his extraordinary heroism. Extraordinary heroism, outstanding leadership, and dauntless devotion to duty. The Marines who were there never forgot him. For the rest of their lives, they told anyone who would listen that they owed their lives to a Coast Guard signalman with a heart bigger than any battlefield. There's a story from the Korean War, Battle of Chosin Reservoir. A Marine officer shouted to his men under fire, "Remember that guy from the Coast Guard who died for us at Guadalcanal? Don't let him down." And today his name lives on. The Coast Guard cutter Douglas Munro was named after him, the Munro Hall at the Coast Guard Academy, the Douglas A. Munro Headquarters Building in Washington, D.C. Every Coast Guard boot camp class has told his story. He is their legend. And it's not just the buildings or the ships, it's the culture. Munro's story is now part of the Coast Guard's identity. Every new recruit hears it. Every cadet learns it. He is a symbol of what it means to serve without hesitation. Let's be real, most people don't associate the Coast Guard with battlefield heroism. But Douglas Munro broke that mold forever. His story matters because it proves something deeper. It's not about what branch you serve in. It's about who you are when the bullets fly. He wasn't a general. He didn't lead armies. He just saw his brothers in trouble and he made the ultimate call. So the next time someone tells you the Coast Guard doesn't belong in the conversation, tell them about Douglas Munro. Thank you so much for watching. If Munro's story hit you like it hit me, drop a comment and let me know which part stuck with you the most. Share this video with someone who respects service, and don't forget to subscribe because we've got more stories like this coming every single week. If you have not already, check out our video on Michelle Howard, Admiral Michelle Howard, another groundbreaking leader who changed what service means in the Navy. And for our website members, here's your sneak peek to the exclusive bonus story, another tale of Coast Guard courage that flew under the radar for 80 years. The story didn't make the headlines, and it is pretty incredible. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you next time.